Oh, NBK, what have you done now? Well, we're about to find out in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe while you're out loud of my baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links, all of that, man, down in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. And this is the NBK, I can't remember the letters and numbers right now, I'll get that in a moment. It is their King of the Sniper Prime. It's the weirdest thing. It's basically like an Optimus Prime analog, we'll say, that comes in this color or the adjunct blue color, and it turns into a rifle with all the accoutrement that you would expect it to have. It is a very tall, big, lanky robot. I'm not going to waste any time here. There's a lot to explore with this guy. Now, unlike other reviews, I decided, because everybody has shown the transformation going from robot to the alt mode, I'm doing it from the alt mode back to the robot, just to be different, just to be contrary, just to be different and unique. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So without any further ado, how about we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. Yes, indeed, and in a very unexpected turn of events, we're taking a look at the NBK KSR01, King of the Sniper Prime. That's a big name. It's basically like an Optimus Prime kind of analog, I'll say. That's really because of the head. Very Transformers Prime-esque Optimus type of head, and he turns into a rifle. There is a blue and I'll say white version that's called adjunct. If you prefer that, I feel like that coloration looks a little more prime-ish than this one, but anyway, it is what it is. Now, every review I have seen transforms this guy from robot to rifle, so I figured, just to be different, I'll do it in reverse. Plus, I'm not gonna lie, I got it here successfully, and I really don't want to have to transform this guy very much. This is not mine. This is on loan to me by our good buddy Mike, so I really appreciate him letting me take a look at it, because otherwise I would not have this. I'm definitely going to call things on like this mode, I'm definitely going to call it by the wrong name, because I don't know anything about like firearms and guns and that sort of stuff. I know nothing about them at all, so I'm definitely going to say stuff wrong. It's not a part of my world, it's not a part of my life, and I don't want it to be. So we have, first things first, the instruction manual. It is utter garbage because it skips steps. I had to really take my time. I really struggled with a lot of the parts here. It's not that they don't have good images, it's not that they're not clear, and it's not even that the parts that move aren't highlighted. They all are. The problem is, they seem to kind of skip over certain things, so I'm going to give you an example before we sort of move on. If I open this up like this, you probably notice this image right here, and it shows that the shoulders, and I'll say like the armpit area, like move up. So I tried to push them up. What it doesn't really explain is that you have to sort of angle it out and up. It's almost semicircling it up. That's not said, and the armature that whole section is on is not super thick and super big. So I did find that to be cumbersome. It's not the only thing. Some of the panels where it's like, you open the arm, great, but it doesn't really tell you where the panel line sort of is, so it's sort of rough to know. What is done with the instructions is done well. Unfortunately, the instructions feel incomplete to me. Now, he also comes with, and I'm going to take this out of it, he also comes with a bunch of these little, I guess they're bullets. And the white part is like soft rubber, it's not even rubber, silicone. It's definitely silicone, like a soft silicone. And then this is like a hard plastic casing, shell, whatever. That the whole thing goes in like this. there's a little tool basically that's sort of like a screwdriver type of thing where it can go in a little hole in the back of the white piece and kind of slide it through the plastic piece. An up close completed version of this looks like this. Like this. So you can see that there's like a little tongue and groove section down around the lower edge. That's what you would push in, and then you have the little bullet piece there on the top. All right, I guess, I suppose if you really want that, I think there's 10 of them. That being said, I'll show you kind of how it's loaded in, but the spring-loaded mechanism for firing it is super duper weak, so I'm not going to bother to do that. It's kind of a neat feature, but also sort of a useless feature. And I guess they probably made it weak so that in the North American market it would be palpable, right? Because there's a lot more regulations of that stuff in North America. Okay, so once you have the bullet thing in, my understanding, and I haven't got all of this figured out to be perfectly honest with you, is that all of the like trigger and handle down here is all fake. I think the whole thing is on this. Like I think you pull it back and you let it go and that's supposed to fire it out. That's my understanding. I can't vouch for that 100% because again, I don't know anything about these things and I don't know if I'm missing something, but that's my understanding, that you put it in, you pull this back, it's spring loaded, and it lets it go. Spring is pretty weak. I can even feel there now that the spring is weak. But to load this, it's actually on the other side, so I'm going to kind of flip things around a little bit here. All right, so now we're on this side, and on this side we have a little button right here. And if we pull back on that, we should be able to, yeah, open that out, and there's a little hole in there. That's where you would pile the, I'm going to call it the bullet. I don't know what it is. That's where you pile the projectile into. And then you would close this back up, pull back that trigger I showed a moment ago, and let it rip. And it should come out, but like it's not strong. So do it if you like, I suppose. We're going to back things up, and then we're going to take a bigger look at this guy. Okay, so we've got a very, very large rifle here, and just so you know how large it is, like here's my hand, right? Coming in around the back to here, right? So like this is definitely like person size. There's no doubt about that. The sword bit goes on up right here. It's not the best storage. I don't know. I guess it's fine. It's good that it's incorporated, but like I don't find it to be very good storage. The scope kind of sort of works. Like it does magnify stuff. I'll give it credit for that. To say it's exactly a scope now is a bit of a stretch, but it's neat for what it is. The scariest part of the transformation, in my estimation, gotta be this black section here. This is the shoulder, and it's in two, I'll say, blocks that are together. It's meant for certain rotation robot mode. However, because this whole shoulder like got kind of back piece here needs to fold all the way up pretty much like over his head in order to get to this mode, I feel like that could snap. I feel like it's not, I don't think that was designed well. I don't think the shoulders of this guy are designed well, and going to this mode, I was terrified that right there would snap, and it doesn't feel like there's any give to it. Like I feel like if it's going to snap, it's just going to snap. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm being overly cautious, but where this isn't mine, I would rather err on the side of caution. I got it here successfully. I don't know if people have had issues with it or not, or if I'm just being, overly cautious. But I can tell you this, getting here because of those shoulders and because of a few things here with the legs, namely these pieces, one moves all right, the other is super tight and uncomfortable. Because of some tolerance issues, because of some issues I think with the materials used, and because of the design of those shoulders, there's parts of the transformation that unnerve me. So I got it here, I'm going to get it back to the robot, I'm going to give it back to Mike, and I'm never transforming it again. He can if he wants. Now, to transform him, there is some parts that need to come off. So we're going to do that first, and I'll talk about the rest of the grades once we get there. I'm going to try and show this as best I can. I'm going to try and show you as much as I can. But it is quite a transformation, so bear with me is the best I can say. First, we're going to try and take off that scope. Now that scope went on super duper tight. Did not like it. I hope it comes off easy, cause I'm a bit nerved. Let's try this. Yeah, that doesn't want to come off at all. So that's awesome. Let's take this off. We can get the sword piece off, and the whole like front barrel, it all comes off as well. I'm gonna get the barrel off and get this scope off, and then we'll just have the main guy kind of without his bits and pieces on him. Okay, now a cautionary word of warning, and this is the best time to kind of point it out. On this rail system up right here, which is basically his chest, we do have a screw hole right there. Important to know, because on this thing we have a little, like on the scope, we have a little piece here in the back. We have a little piece here in the back, and it has 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna call them 5mm, maybe 3mm, no, I think it's 5mm pegs. And if you fold it up inside that way, this peg could get caught in that, in which case you'll have to take out these 2 screws and kind of get this apart a little bit to get it off. So before you ever put this on, make sure that this black piece that has the little pegs on it is put up that way, up here behind, so that you have a smoother mechanism here to put it on. The other thing that I wanted to note here is, I'm going to pull this back, is like the stabilizers, the tripod, I don't know what you call those things. They can stay like that, but if you want them up, you can do that as well. All you need to do is come here, and there's a button on the side, and you hit it once and it takes it 1 click, twice another click. There's a button on the other side as well, so both of those can come up. This as well comes off, and then we can get into the transformation. Just so you know, that front piece slides on over this translucent light? I don't know. Whatever it is. And it just slots in, like it just goes in a slot right there. So like this would come up and slide down over, right? So that's all of the bits and pieces off this guy, and bare bones he looks like this. Still big, still burly. I mean, it is what it is. We're going to start from the back, which is the legs. We're going to work our way up the body, basically. And hopefully set ourselves up for some success here. I'm going to focus in on chunks as we go, because that's probably the best way to try to show this transformation, because it's actually shockingly involved for what it is. Plus, there are things here I want to be very delicate about how I move that I may explain and then move off camera. We'll see about that as we go. So we're going to start down here on the very back first. And the very back of this guy starts right here with these 2 pieces. And we're going to kind of pick those off, and we should be able to open these out. I'm hoping, though, yeah, they fit together kind of tight. So we're going to open that out, fold this down, and turn this around, and it comes right up here on the side. Same here, we open it out, we put this piece down, we turn it around, and we bring it up on the side. Okay, now we should be able to get like the whole kind of, I'll say, back part of the leg sort of open, which is good because we have a piece here that we need to get out. So we're going to split the legs there. Ooh, that squeak didn't feel good. And then we're going to come down under right here where this piece is, and I'm going to get that out of there, and we split right there, and take that off, and take that off. And this whole piece comes out. We can even take this piece now if we want, and should be able to split it as well, though this is real tight when it goes together. Open it out, and then do that with it. This will become his neck in just a little bit, so we're going to take that out of it. Laid aside for now. Now I'm going to kind of try and show one leg, and the other one obviously works pretty much the same. So we have a panel here that can fold up. We have a panel here that can fold out. We have a section, a spring load section here of the thigh, I suppose, and that should be able to angle down a bit once we have all of this apart. We also lift up that hip piece. Bring out a hip. Bring this down, and then it should be able to fold in. And when we fold it in, there's a couple of holes here and like a peg here that should be able to go in place on the inner side of the leg, but you gotta make sure you got all that down. And when you move it down, you're gonna wanna push this piece in to do it, right? So if we come over on this side and kind of try and do it, it comes down and we push that in, and then the whole inner side of the leg folds around. This here we can just bring up like that, and we're gonna just leave that up there for now. Then we come down to the lower part of the leg. Issue number one for me was that little peg system on the scope. If you forget about that, you're gonna have a nuisance to deal with. Issue number two for me is the feet. I've heard people say, like, there seems to be stress marks. I don't think it's stress marks, I think it's sprue marks, because these feet are on mushroom pegs, and the mushroom pegs on both of these love to pop right out, and it's not intuitive, at least not to me, how the feet actually move. But they need to come out if we want to get the legs down. So I'm gonna try to see. The whole foot just came out, and it's not broken or anything. It's two mushroom pegs. It's fine. It's just it's a nuisance. It could have been done way better than what it is. See if I can figure this out. Bring out the heel, and I think then this is supposed to, yeah, come up like that. So I can't tell you the transformation because I have yet to get it to actually work. I can get it like this and then turn it around to get it out on the front of the leg, which is of course gone off screen. Let's see if I can have any better luck with this foot down here for you. It should, nope, you saw, like it's mushroom pegged in. It's not a big deal, but it's not good. It's not at all well toleranced, even slightly. So I'm going to push that down and then get the foot out. We're going to put that panel down on the leg and put this one out. This should be able to, oh, this got to turn. My mistake. I put this in the wrong way. Got that down. Then this should be able to come around. Oh, the knee piece, that whole thing needs to turn around, and I forgot to do that. Ah! Now we close that up and close this down and close this in. There's a leg done. My mistake about not turning the leg. We got to turn. I'm gonna have to do the same over here. We're gonna have to turn. I gotta do the same here. Turn this piece around. Bring that down. Then bring this up on the side. I gotta bring out the whole foot section here. Again, what a nuisance to get out. I'm gonna have to get that section out for the foot, and I guess we'll continue on after I got the foot back on, because it just pops out of the mushroom peg. Man, what a chore to try and do this guy. Okay, so we have the hip pieces up kinda here. We have to bring the hips up. Same over here, that hip piece comes up and the hips come out and up, out and up. And now we should be able to stand the guy up if he wants to stay stood up on his own. Before we do that, we're going to split these two sections and bring them to the side, because we're going to have to deal with the arms next. Oh, and we can also put the trigger up kind of into his butt, basically. Okay, I'm going to back things up. We're going to stand this guy up and try and do the upper body next. Now I'll say this, I probably have to adjust a couple of things here, and a lot of people said this guy doesn't stand very well. I find he stands fine. The trick though is you gotta remember to take out his heel spurs, otherwise he stands like trash. Okay, so next we take these pieces here, and they should be able to split and come up on the side. So that should come up like that, this should come up like this. Then this whole piece should be able to come down, turn around, and go back up with this and this opening out. We're just going to leave that there for now. Just going to make sure that I got these hips up as far as I can have them up, at least for now. Okay. Whew. This is something else. Not gonna lie. These pieces here, they can kind of come to the back, sort of, kind of, for now. Then we get to the arms here, and the arms, take that piece off the top. The arms we're going to have to split. Now, with the arms we have a hinge right here. This is the hinge that goes into like the side of the body basically, and then we have the shoulder here. I'm going to try and be very delicate with this because I don't trust these shoulders at all. And you've already seen how like the feet are tumultuous on this guy, and you know the scope is tumultuous, so there's definitely some tolerance issues here. I like to begin by kind of helping things out by, there's sliders here. I want to bring those sliders back so that the arms are sort of free. I like to do that on both sides. So I come over here. By the way, these sliders are nice. The way that they slide is actually fairly smooth. You got to slide them out to make sure that they click, so that the arms can actually like click together basically. Then we're going to start to split the arms up here. That stays there. And we split the arms there. Now we got down to the shoulder split, and then we split what is in essence the body. And now we got like all of this sort of opened out. I actually wanted to leave these down on the side. I brought them around the back, but I'm not there yet. Okay, now these need to come down on the side, and I'm gonna do that first. But you have to be careful the way they come down. So they come down there, and then you fold it up. I don't like this armature. I don't feel like this is a strong armature. That's why I suggest when you do it, don't hold on out here. Hold on to the armature as much as you can. These are down. The back will pull out. The head will, or should, rotate up. Of course, it doesn't want to rotate up right now. Here we go. And then that comes in, like that. Okay, I hope all this is staying in focus. I really do, because if it's not, then we're just going to have to work with what we have, because I'm not doing this transformation again. It is scary. So we're going to straighten that up and bring this around the back. We're going to straighten this up and bring it around the back. Basically, these pieces were off in package. You had to put them on, and now they go together and they kind of snap down into the neck. I'm just going to get that done off camera, and then we'll deal with the arms. Okay, so I've got the two back pieces locked into each other. It's a little fiddly to do it because they lock into each other and there's a slot on the back that two little rectangular tabs go in. I also have this arm down. I wanted to try it on this one first before I show you on the other one. Because my thought is the safest way to move the shoulder is to actually hold the hinge. Not the arm, because I don't think right here can support it, but the hinge itself. Once we have that down, then we should be able to flip that piece in. We should be able to come over here to where the hand is and bring out the hand. And then this whole piece of arm should flip around and tab in, and the hand should just rotate around. This whole piece of arm should also come around and tab in, and then this comes down on the back. That's it, really. Now for the other arm, because I do want to kind of show you as best I can how I do this. So, I don't like this. So this comes down, and when that comes down, we need to get this arm out. I actually hold on to the hinge in here and begin to bring it out. You're gonna hit up to a point here where like you can't really do anything with it because the pieces kind of rub off each other a bit. I would hold on to, again, the hinge and bring that shoulder out. Push. It's not easy to do. There we go, I got it down. And now that one down. And then we bring in that piece on the side. I think that's how you have to fiddle and finagle the shoulder to do it safely. That should have been one piece with the ratchet somehow built inside of it somewhere. not the two pieces the way that it is. This closes back around, this goes down. The hand we have to get out here now, and you really gotta find a finger to kind of grab to get it out. Of course, this one wants to be stuck on me now a bit. Naturally. There. Rotate it around. Make sure I got it down. Close that together, and then this should also close together. Why it's not closing together, I'm not sure. There. Whoo! And now in the end, boom, here we have this big lad in his robot mode. Now before anybody out there says, GotBot, he's not done, you don't have his stuff on him. I'm going to do that now. That was the core robot done. This is that neck piece I talked about from earlier. It goes on over the top of this guy. And there's a bunch of like peg holes and stuff that this goes down into. Just get it. Like that. Then we have this piece I have not figured out a place to put. I don't see anything in the instructions about it. Then we have, then we have the scope piece. It can go on the back of the arm. Again, we need to use this little piece that I warned you about earlier, and there's a hole on the back of the arm here where actually I think they do it on this one, but it doesn't really matter which one you do it on. It's your call, really. Hold on. It's not, I don't think it's great storage myself, but whatever. It's there, it is what it is, that's where it goes. And then you have the sword, which using these two tabs can go into either hand. Really this one though I think is the one it's meant to go into. I guess it can go in either hand, although maybe it can't. Maybe it can only go in this hand. That being said, this here can fold down, and then you can, this is telescopic, you can close that in, feed that in here. Is that how that goes? There, yeah, feed that in there like that, and he gets like a blaster, but he still needs to hold it this way, so it's a weird blaster. I'll put it in his hands in a little bit. In terms of the coloration, I gotta give it a 10 objectively, because we don't really have anything to really compare it to, per se, because it's its own thing. If it's really meant to be an Optimus Prime, then it's a 1, maybe, because it's not Optimus Prime, even though this head does look very Optimus Prime-esque, but it's really, he's his own guy, right? So I'm going to say a 10 because I have to, where it's objective. The transformation, I mean, it's funny, I done a look at the NBK Constructicons some time ago and thought, you know what, they're not too bad, they're all right. And they were great Constructicons, a bit of an iffy Devastator. I said maybe one solid big bot will rectify that, but you know, one of these is very, very tight, uncomfortably tight. The scope, unless you remember to put that little tab up, you're going to have it kind of get locked in place. You got to unscrew it. The whole shoulder assembly I don't like. That small armature that goes into the body I don't like. The transformation's fine, but I think you should be very delicate and very specific with it and try and move the hinges themselves rather than the chunks connected to the hinges as much as you can. I'm going to give it an 8, but with the caveat that the materials aren't the best. I wish the plastic was more robust, and I don't like anything about this shoulder assembly at all. So it's an 8 with a caveat that you may very well break it because of materials, which would bring it down to about a 3. The parts that work fine. The parts that don't work, it's pretty darn unfortunate. Okay, so a 3 and a 10, well, I'm sorry, an 8 and a 10. Let's go to the articulation. We have a head that goes left and right. If you have this neck piece, I've got more. Little down, little, oh, nice bit up actually. The arms can go out. Now again, be careful because this hinge starts to want to go up. If you leave the hinge down, the arm can go all the way out on its own volition. I don't even feel good bringing it down like that. I really don't. I can almost see it slightly flexing there, and I don't feel like there's much flex in there. I don't think there's going to be a lot of give. Why is that done? It's done to allow this on a ratchet. That's why it is designed like that, but I don't like it and I don't feel good about it. We have a bicep swivel. We have double elbow, which is super duper nice. We have wrist. We have individually articulated fingers. The thumb is on a ball peg and then base pin. It looks like ball peg at the first knuckle and then second and third knuckle. Looks like it's just a hinge. We have a waist, which is fairly tight, but not crazy tight like some people say. I don't feel like the waist is delicate. Let me put it to you that way. So the waist, see, that's why I don't care about putting that up there because it's not going to stay there anyway. The waist is okay. These hip skirts get out of the way. These hip skirts get out of the way. So in terms of leg motion, go back about that far. Maybe can these back skirts get out of the way too? Oh, I gotta open out the back skirts. I didn't do that. Yeah, the back skirts can get out of the way. So all the way forward, back, all the way forward. And honestly, out to the side about there. It's not all the way, but it's, for the size that he is, I guess it's respectable. We do have a thigh swivel built inside the thigh, which is nice. Yeesh. We do have a knee here, but there's a secondary hinge in here. The bottom one is ratcheted, the upper one is not, so I don't know if the upper one is necessarily intended to be, but he could basically like kick his own butt. The heel, it can go in and out, make sure you take it out. The toe can go up and down, and there is some ankle tilt. Articulation, honestly, I know some people said like, he has trouble standing, but no he doesn't. You gotta remember to take out the heels. Articulation, oh, this is so hard. It's like the transformation. The articulation's a 10. But, that being said, again, this whole shoulder mechanism, I don't trust it. I don't like moving the arms out. It doesn't feel good. I don't feel like whatever's built here, I don't feel like it's going to be enough for long-term support of the entire arm. I think this is great. I do. I think it's good. But unfortunately, because of my concerns about the shoulder, it really hurts. So overall, I'm going to say that his score, honestly, is about an 8. It's quite good. But I also feel like the writing is on the wall that there could be breakage issues here that I don't like, which would of course bring it down to a 0, right? If it breaks, it's no good. It's as simple as that. Last thing before we get out of here, because like I said, I do think it's good, is a size comparison. And I'm shocked that nobody has made the size comparison in what I've seen yet. I mean, our lad here, he's a Titan, right? I mean, if you're wondering how big this is, he's the size of a Titan. Maybe not the biggest Titan, he's not quite Metroplex or Fort Max, but he's the size of a Titan. I still don't know where this goes. Overall, objectively speaking, he's about an 8. There's things I don't like here, don't trust the longevity of, so I'm going to knock it down subjectively to about a 6. If it breaks, it's a failure. This guy is really, really hard. Do I recommend it? He's cool. He's cool, there's no doubt, and I think he looks great he looks great in his rifle mode. Bit of a lanky, weird-looking robot, but certainly looks great in the rifle mode. Starscream wife loved it and was like, "Oh my goodness, you have to get him." I was like, no, I really don't. I really don't. It's cool if you're in for it. I don't have enough of a tie to this, and I'm not intrigued enough by it for me to get it. If you're on the fence, I would say don't. If you're all in because you either adore the robot mode or you adore the rifle mode, get it. Put it in that mode and maybe transform it very, very little. And here we are once again, and here he is. So he's obviously a Titan. He is definitely a lanky Titan. He is gigantic. The robot mode is certainly interesting. You know, the head is very Transformers Prime, as I've said now a few times. A lot of people have said, put a Megatron head on it, and it should be Megatron. I don't really see Megatron here, but I guess you could. I guess you could. This is not for me. At all. Under any circumstances, it's not for me. I don't like stylized versions of characters that I know and love. This is very lanky. But I wanted to look at it where I did look at something from NBK before, and I liked it. There's a lot here that I like, and there's a couple of things that make me nervous that would cause me to not buy this. So the things I love the look of the gray and the silver and all of the paint, and I even like the translucent plastic. Like, for all of the bells and whistles of looks, I think the guy's really cool. For articulation, the guy is top notch. A lot of people have complained about the feet. Guys, you gotta take out those heels. You don't do that, then yeah, he's gonna have trouble standing. You take out the heels, stands like a champ. Everything feels solid in robot mode. And then when we get to his alt mode, the rifle, everything feels pretty solid there. When I got to the alt mode finally last night, when I was practicing for all this, I came around the corner and Starscream wife saw it, and her immediate reaction was like, oh, that's so cool. You need this. Now, I don't need this. Because of the things that unnerve me, we'll say. I don't like the armature for the side of the body that's in the body. Very thin in my estimation, and I detest the way the shoulders are done with these two square pieces held together. I get it. You want to be able to do this with the arm. I feel like what we should have ended up with is something more along the lines of a solid piece going through the shoulder and maybe a ratchet built inside the shoulder, or maybe the solid piece going from the shoulder right across and the ratchet built inside the body. That's just me. Maybe it's not an issue. I don't know, but I feel like it could be. And I feel like that when this gives, or if this gives, that there's not going to be any warning. I think it'll just snap like that. I like it, but if I'm a responsible reviewer, I can't just say, this is great, go get it. I have to give it the caveats of be very careful of the shoulders, be very careful of the armatures in the body. Outside of that, oh, and realize that your feet are probably going to pop off the ball pegs. Outside of that, it's not bad. I like it. It's not for me, it's for a very discerning collector that wants something very specific. And I suggest to you that the vast majority of people who get this guy aren't getting them for the robot mode. I would suggest to you the vast majority of people who are getting this guy are probably getting it for the alt mode. And there's nothing wrong with that if it suits your collecting tastes. Let me know what you think about this guy. Very mixed bag for me. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we have to offer to you through Teespring, or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, stick around and have some fun with us here on the channel. Especially don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference. I want to thank Mike again for letting me take a look at this, and I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.